of a white Christmas.
A white Christmas in Piedmont, North Carolina. Who would ever thought such a thing? I mean, the last time anything like this happened where we had a significant snowfall on Christmas was in 1947, 63 years ago. Back whenever the song White Christmas was still relatively a new song. And it's because of that song that sometimes we idealize what the perfect Christmas would be. And we thought that, a snowfall on Christmas would just be perfect. Well, we had one. And things didn't go quite the way we had planned. Even in my family, we are not able to get together and do the things that we thought we would be able to do. My sister-in-law, who's stuck in the mountains, is going to be trying to get home today in Chapel Hill. And the roads are getting worse. Well, it's amazing how we idealize things and think that if things would just work out just the way we want them to, then everything would be perfect. It kind of reminds me of a story from the Bible. I think you know the one I'm talking about. I want us to look at this Christmas story in a very different light today, from a gospel that sometimes we kind of overlook, and that's the Gospel of Matthew. Let's look at what it says in Matthew chapter 1, verses 18 through 25. Now this is how Jesus, the Messiah, was born. His mother Mary was engaged to be married to Joseph, but while she was still a virgin, she became pregnant by the Holy Spirit. Joseph, her fiancé, being a just man, decided to break the engagement quietly so as not to disgrace her publicly. As he considered this, he fell into a deep sleep, and the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream, saying, "Joseph, son of David, do not be afraid to go ahead with your marriage to Mary, for the child within her has been conceived by the Holy Spirit. And she will have a son, and you are to name him Jesus, for he will save his people from their sins." And all of this happened to fulfill the Lord's message through the prophet. "Look, the virgin will conceive a child. She will give birth to a son, and he will be called Emmanuel," meaning God with us. When Joseph woke up, he did what the angel of the Lord commanded. He brought Mary home to be his wife, but she remained a virgin until her son was born, and Joseph named him Jesus. Things didn't happen quite the way Joseph had intended. He had planned to marry Mary someday, and probably sometime in the future he had planned to have a family, to have a son who would carry on the family business. But things didn't go the way Joseph had intended. Instead, his young fiancée became pregnant, and in a very mysterious way. And he decided to break off the engagement to Mary, so not to disgrace her in public. But then one night he was visited by an angel who said, "Joseph, don't be afraid, because the son or the child that Mary has within her is God's child. You're to raise him and to name him Jesus, because he will save the people from their sins. Name him Emmanuel, God with us." Well, Joseph probably had to continue to endure some sneers and snide remarks from his family and friends. But Joseph was faithful, and he followed through with what he was told. But I'm sure if given a chance, Joseph would have done things quite different. He probably would plan things so it wouldn't cause such a stir. But because things did happen the way they did, the way God intended, we celebrate Jesus today. We celebrate God with us. And this may not be the perfect Christmas after all. We probably idealized a white Christmas as being one, but there were complications. But let's not forget, the real meaning of Christmas is Emmanuel, God with us. So actually, it is the perfect Christmas. Stay warm and stay safe, my friends. And Godspeed.
And may all